Hello, I'm Gavin Hoey and you're watching an exclusive video for smick.co.uk. Now in this video I'm going to talk about getting a shallow depth of field in the studio environment. Now shallow depth of field makes your portraits look fantastic, gives them that kind of dreamy sort of ethereal look, and outside it's fairly easy to do, but in studio it's always been quite tricky. That's really because studio flash that we tend to use is actually really powerful, punches out a lot of light and ends up with a small aperture and a big depth of field. So what we need is a big aperture and a very small depth of field, and to do that we need a little bit less light. In fact, what we need is one of these. This is the lightbank from Mick. It's a continuous light rather than a flashlight, and it's ideal for video work, which is what I normally use it for. But in portrait photography, still photography, it produces plenty of light, more than enough to illuminate our subject if we're shooting with a great big wide open aperture, and that's exactly what we're going to do. Okay, let's set this up. Let's set up our little light here. Now I've got the light mounted on a boom arm because I want to do something called clamshell or beauty lighting. So I'm going to light my little model, who's not here yet, I'm sure she'll arrive soon. I'm going to light her from above, and then I'm going to put a reflector underneath and light her from below as well. One of the really nice things about the light bank is it has 7 bulbs, continuous lighting bulbs, so you could turn some of the bulbs on and off if you need to fine-tune the power of the light. But today I'm just going to put them all on. And to make sure that some light goes underneath our model as well, I'm going to put a little reflector, and I'm just going to tuck that in just underneath the light, so that'll bounce light into the model's eyes as well as a lighting underneath her chin. And the idea is simply that I photograph through the gap in the middle. And because we're using such a small depth of field, we can actually get our subject really close to the background. So this sort of work is ideal if you're working in a very small studio environment. The other nice side effect of that is that our main light, our key light, will not only light our subject, but it'll also throw some light onto the background as well. Okay, so there we are, that's the light setup. Next thing to do is to grab a camera, and let's talk lenses. So when it comes to depth of field, you're talking aperture. So you're looking for a lens that has an aperture of f4 as the biggest probable number, but even better would be a lens that has an aperture of f2.8, and for me that'll be this little beast of a lens right here. This is my 70-200 f2.8. Now this is a seriously expensive piece of glass. However, there's a cheaper alternative, and that's this thing right here. Now this little thing is a 50mm f1.8. So it's an even bigger aperture, giving an even smaller depth of field. So if you're on a budget, get yourself an f1.8. Hey, but if you've got money to burn, grab yourself the 70-200 f2.8. Okay, this is the one I'm going to be using. Let's get it on the camera and let's get the model sat right here. Okay, so our model is here. We've got the lovely Freya who'll be modelling for us today. The lights are set, my camera is set in aperture priority mode. I've dialed in f2.8, which is wide open. I'm ready to go, let's take some pictures. So I started with a straight on shot. I'm now going to move to a slight side angle, which should give a different depth of field effect. Okay, and let's go this way. So if you look over towards that light stand there for me. Okay, and then bring your eyes back to me. One of the nice things about working with continuous light is there isn't any flashes to go off and there's no waiting for them to recycle, so you can just keep snapping away. Another good thing to do as well is to check as you're going along. Because the depth of field is so small, the chances are that getting the focus point spot on won't happen every single time, so just make sure that you're getting it in focus more often than not. And a final little tip as well, try changing your elevation compared to your model. So try getting higher is always a good way, so you're looking slightly down onto your model. Again, with that shallow depth of field, that's going to make some great looking pictures. straight ahead through the gap. Okay, so there we go. I think that's a wrap. So there we go. There's how you can use the lightbank from Mick & Sue to make some amazingly shallow depth of field pictures that look absolutely stunning. Now, if you want to find out more about the Mick & Sue products, the lightbank, or anything else on the Smick store, have a look at the website at www.smick.co.uk. I'm Gavin Hoey. Thanks for watching.